we are. I wanted to just point out on, excuse me, wanted to point out on this flight here. We're going from snow to snow. That sheet? No, not even gonna bother. Chicago-Milwaukee approach is on. I don't feel like dealing with VATSIM right now, but at any rate, set this with 2994. Why did that turn on and that turn on? That's very interesting. At any rate, I want to do a step-by-step here to help out one of the guys from the P3D forums and Facebook groups. So you come into the flight deck to do the GSX, right? Check here. Of course, my database is incorrect now. I wonder if I can... No, won't let me do it. I have
I'm out for the walk around.
I have the database, the new database installed. I just installed it, of course. Good to go. Yeah. But FS Labs is one of the only ones I think that can't read it as you install it. So let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of it. We don't need immersion manager, as far as I know. So what you got to do to get the GSX and ATSU AOC integration working? Why do I have no CPDLC in this? Oh, it's 565. That's right. At any rate, we'll just leave that be for now. So you go AOC menu, init, right? It's going to populate. As long as you did your sim brief flight plan and your stuff is set up correctly, you can go to crew details. I'll put in my JetBlue number. All right. So we're JetBlue 2711. You don't have to type anything there. It'll populate automatically. And then you go init data request. All right, let that come in. 2 hours, 43 minutes. Initialization received. On the other side, you'll see AOC active flight plan uplink. And we got GPS primary now, so I just hit clear. So I go back to the AOC menu. Now, mind you, I've already pushed the button up here, mechanic button, and gotten my ground services. So we got excuse me, we got the baggage cart, we got the jetway, everything is attached, right? So that's all done. You have to be within an hour of departure, or actually it's 2030, so my sim brief, we'll just do 2100. Okay, make sure that's within an hour, within 60 minutes. Why did sim brief think we were leaving it that time? Anyways, when you're in a non-Sharklet aircraft, sometimes you have to hit this twice, but hit it once, hold it down. That's going to automatically, and then just let go. It's going to request, as long as you have via GSX in there, it's going to request the fuel. So now the fuel truck's on the way. What I do right after that, so there's no plus here, so there's no data to be filled out. What I do right after that is I go over here to boarding, I go to request, and I'm going to request the catering. So now the catering is going to be on the way, right? And I should have now, if I look here, I should have a company message for a load sheet. So I didn't get the load sheet, right? So that happens sometimes. So I just go right back up to OFP data and click that button one more time. There we go. Now we get the company message. There's the load sheet. That's what we're looking for. So we get a slot time, airport weather, 13-minute delay, expected load sheet. I'm going to take the numbers down here because this is a non-Sharklet aircraft, so I don't have an EFB over here that I can cheat with. With the Sharklet aircraft, all the messages come to EFB. So this is JetBlue 2711. We got a zero fuel of 130.8. Takeoff fuel is 26.1. Takeoff weight's 156.9. Now, mind you, this can change. Go to the next page. Zero fuel, center of gravity is 32. And then we're 30.0 on the takeoff. 146 passengers. We're under load by 4,000 pounds. Landing weight's supposed to be 140.15. Right? Go to the last page. They're going to load us up with potable water, excuse me. Pantry effect is 1,763 pounds, or 1.8 on the fuel. And then we got 26.6 on the fuel. So I accept that load sheet. 26.6 on the block. I usually like to let it load about 10,000. because that's perfect timing for me to get done what I need to get done. You know, load 10,000. Once the catering's on board, then I'll load up that. So I'm going to continue my pre-flight flows. I'm going to go ahead here and go 2200. I could pop onto VATSIM, and I'm going to go TARA right off the rip. So now that the catering and the fuel trucks are both here, setting up, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to init. I'm going to check everything out on this page, Boston to Chicago. I'm going to check my tropopause off my flight plan, which is 352 on the climb. Cost index is 35. Probably should have ran a little higher cost index. Now I'm going to do, so that's my init A. Init A, right? D, we look at the data, right? Init A, flight plan, DIF, and we're planning on departing 9. As long as we can do that. And we're going to be on a Highland departure today. Highland 6, insert. Start looking at the way the flight plan's built out. So Boston, runway 9, Claw, Court, Stacy. Traft. And Highland. Some new waypoints on this as of November. Right, and make sure Highland, Cambridge, Page, Q822, down to, all the way down I think, to Flint, Michigan. And then we are going to join the Windy 2 arrival for ILS 27 Center. So we're going ILS 27 Center is what they're using right now. And we want the Windy arrival. Windy 2, via Flint, no approach via, insert. It is snowing out there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just step through the plan one more time and make sure we're good to go. Here. Yeah, there's a couple close-in waypoints, okay. Flint, and then on to the arrival. Brings us in over Lake Michigan, down into Chicago O'Hare. So we'll probably, most likely, we'll break off here at Poppy to start vectoring in. Alright, so we're good there. We go to RadNav. We have a takeoff alternate today, which is JFK. So I'm going to pop JFK in there, even though it probably won't show up. That's where we're going to bail out to, and I'll leave Boston on the right side. Everything's serious. We will come right back to Boston, but most likely going to JFK. So it's D, I, F, R. Then we go to init B. We take the numbers. What I like to do here is grab the wind request, grab the numbers that we just wrote down. So we got 130.8 and 32.0, 130.8. 32.0, and this could change depending on passengers making the flight or whatever. I'm going to go 26.6 on the block. I got 129 knot headwind, which is going to be awesome. Then I go back to my SimBrief flight plan and I grab the reserve, which is going to be 3.3. I grab the alternate, which is 3.9 to Detroit. They're saying 4.6, but I'm going to say 3.9. They say it's only 41 minutes. No route reserve. We have a dispatch add of 2.8 today, plus 500. So as this figures itself out here, and then the taxi out's going to be 500. You'll see all these numbers adjusting themselves, and then when the wind data uplink comes, that's when things will settle in. SimBrief says it's 15.4 on the burn off for 2 hours and 43 minutes. So this is going to adjust now, right? While that's adjusting, we'll come back to
I'm
this
back.
page.
No issues on the walk around.
Right, so now we're going to do our cockpit setup. So we know Boston is going to be 5,000 feet initially. plan, get that going. Constraints. Sit down, flight director 1. He'll put on his flight director. I'm going to call for the performance. Catering's done, so I'm going to call for boarding. And the ATSU. I'm going to request. Board now. Request. And you have to make sure to hear anything, you have to make sure these 3 things are on, right here. And I'd recommend turning the INT down a little bit. So boarding's coming. We're going to get a company message with the updated 0 fuel weight. We should, at least. So, wind in Boston 330 at 16 now. I don't know if the ATIS switched, but we were departing 9. Yep, still departing 9. Gusting at 20, so we're departing with a tailwind. We may very well need. May very well need. Crossing tailwind, actually. We very well may need. Let's see what the Boston ATIS is here. Yep, departing 9. So then we go to the next page. We grab our takeoff weight here, and I gotta do. It's a wet runway. So yes for a wet runway. Anti-ice. We want engine and wing both on, which we'll select the wing on after takeoff, but it has to be calculated like this. And we're going to send this. It's probably going to be a toga takeoff, so I might do a PAX off takeoff today. So now we just wait for our company message to come back in.
Hi, the security and safety check are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Go for it.
Thanks.
So you hear FS2 crew in the background. I don't have the chat up yet, guys. Just bear with me a second. Definitely going to need to de-ice. So that's it. So I sent off for performance. So we'll check in at B, right? So it's calling 15-1 now. Might as well do this on VATSIM since Cleveland's offline. Just need to grab a flight plan. And we are going to come right on back tonight. Cell calls. Juliet, Quebec, Fox, Mike. JQ. Do that. Load the flight plan. Copy that for my ACARS, file it. I'm going to start the JetBlue ACARS. Good to go. We got 142. I'm going to start out at 340. So now what I'm going to do, because I'm on VATSIM, I'm going to grab the ATIS. So I go McDo menu, ATSU, AOC, departure ATIS. Might as well get they're almost done with the fuel. Get the weather in Chicago as well. Hello. Clear that out and we'll go take a look at the performance numbers. So performance for runway 9, wet runway, 8 knot tailwind, NIS on, PAX on, 2994, 156.9 is a calculated takeoff weight, 30.0, so we're down 0.33 on the trim for 30.0. We got a flaps 3. Toga required.
We're preparing for an on-time
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try
movement. All customers must be
and see what happens if we do a PAX off takeoff.
Please make sure your seat back is
See if we
upright.
can get a little bit of flex out of it.
And all carry-on items are put away. Smaller bags and personal items may be placed all the way under the seat front view. Larger items can be
Send
stowed in
another
overhead
message.
bins with the wheels or handles facing out. Small electronic devices may be held and placed in your pocket or in the seat back in front of you, but cellular services must be turned off prior to
So it's
takeoff.
information Lima, quarter of a mile
Inflight members,
visibility.
please prepare for departure. As we are currently refueling,
Chicago's better
please ensure
visibility.
your seatbelt remains unfastened until the seatbelt sign is turned on. Thank you.
There we go. They should be just about done with the fuel. So I'll go back and send off fuel report, which I always seem to forget. Yes. Here's our clearance for our PVC. So now, we'll turn our packs on and off. And I forgot to hit up the ground air. So fuel's done. That's a 63822. Stick that in there. We make sure we got 15 plus 11. No difference. Send the fuel report. You can turn the seat belts on now. The fuel's done. And let's turn the fuel pumps on. Check the fuel page. We got 26.6 and it is balanced. Pumps on. Okay. Check the hydraulics. A little low on the yellow side, so I'm going to have them refill it. There's the hydraulic refill. Closing that so you can see that the yellow electric pump is there. Should be the Y electric pump.
We're preparing for an on-time departure. Prior to aircraft movement, all customers must be seated with their seatbelts fastened. Please make sure your seat back is upright, tray table is stowed, and all carry-on items are put away. Smaller bags and personal items may be placed all the way under the seat front view. Larger items can be stowed in overhead bins with the wheels or handles facing out. Small electronic devices may be held and placed in your pocket or in the seat back in front of you, but cellular services must be turned off prior to takeoff. In-flight crew members, please prepare for departure.
Pressure. Braking brake fan. Hydraulic vacuum. I guess they did not get
Ladies and gentlemen, the door to the aircraft has been
the
closed.
Y electric pump.
U.S. regulations require all large personal electronic devices to be turned off and stowed at this time. You may continue to use your small airway devices. Please
So
make
good
sure
there.
they're switched to airplane. These
Turn on the
devices must be
APU.
unplugged from the outlets, secured in the seatback pocket,
We got a company
and placed in your
message.
pocket or held. If it becomes necessary, the captain may request that all devices be turned off during the flight.
There's our load sheet. 130.8, 156.9, 31.9, 30.0. So we go back here. Double check that. And then we're going to run performance request for the weight. Double check that. 09. We'll send that off. We'll do a packs off takeoff. Okay, flaps open, starting the APU. Now you notice here, we're all set up for a managed climb. You see the dot here? We're set up for managed nav. We don't have our takeoff speeds in yet, so we're not quite ready for that. And we're definitely gonna have to de-ice. There's our company message for the performance. Umberto did a nice job with the GSX walk-in gates. What I really would like is remote de-ice. Okay, APU is available. APU bleed's coming on. We got over 115 passengers. We're going to go pack flow to high. You see the packs are getting taken care of. Pack 1 gets fed by the APU. Can show that. And bleed set up. And there's our performance numbers for a packs off takeoff. Still toga required because it's a wet runway. So you got flap 3, 28, 29, 34. So we got a perf, and we'll just click those in. Toga's not allowed, flex not allowed. Flap 3 down 0.3, 28, 29, 34. Now you'll see we're going to have a dot for managed next to speed. So we're doing 23, call it 5 knots before, 29, 34, checked, and we're 1020 in Boston. And you know what we're going to do? Actually, we're going to do this. We're going to do 3,000. Accelerate, but we'll leave the thruster. And it's going to be 34 initially. Single engine checks, no weather radar, yes. Are you ready for the departure briefing?
Ready.
Any questions?
None.
Okay, let's check the PDC. Let's see what we got here. Okay, 1340. Come down to the ATC. Clear that out. 1340. That is set. Before start checklist, please. Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On and auto.
Adheres.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
26,600 pounds.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Baro ref.
2994 set.
2994. Set. Electronic load sheet.
Sent.
Down to the line.
Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
Set.
Before start checklist complete.
Oh yes. nastier. So we gotta set up for the still cold and back because of jetway. So we need to go Q bleed off, engine bleeds 1 and 2 off, pressurization's in auto, ditching. Watch, it's gonna get real stuffy in the back now. And watch these temps climb right up. Because now there's no air going in now. And the outflow valve all closed. Make sure we're still good. Let's see, Boston ground. Boston ground, good afternoon, JBU2711 with Lima for, I'm gonna de-ice in the alley. Want us to call you coming out, or you want us to call you for push?
JBU2711, push back your discretion, call for taxi.
Okay, we'll call you for taxi, JBU2711. Is tower up too?
Grounded cockpit. We are ready for de-icing, so set parking brakes and confirm, please.
Parking brake set. Clear approach. Alright, we want type 4, 75.
Should be a few minutes. I'll call when we're done. Fluid type 4 at 75%. Starting de-icing.
Should be a short taxi.
Boston ground, Delta 4084
Hey guys,
on
all
Yankee
packs
quarter
are on
fifty
board.
right.
Are we clear to close?
Yes.
Delta 4084, Boston ground, hello. Join runway 33 right, crosswalk 4 left, and join November, hold short 5 right, for gate 101. Alright, we're going 33 right, cross 2 right, and November, hold short 33 left, and we'll be going over to the main terminal. Delta 4084, okay.
Why am I losing my mouse and outside views right now? It's gorgeous white tartan tail done by Gregory Verba. We can check our holdover time in here.
Okay, we're done here. Anti-icing and de-icing is complete. Fluid type 4 at 75%. Okay, our trucks are clear. We're disconnecting now and have a
89
good flight.
minutes until we can, until we have to do something about it. So now we can go bleed 1, bleed 2, ditching.
Icing precautions in force, so delay engine start until push complete and the aircraft is
Boston
clear.
ground up at 484. We're going to change the time of parking, just make it shorter. We're going to park next to the JetBlue that came in right before us. Delta 4084,
Once that
no
outflow
problem.
valve's
Cross
good.
runway 15
Back up
right,
if you
taxi
bleed on.
to
Ground
the
contact
gate
one should
We
DS
are
November
right
Alpha.
now, so please confirm.
Alright, we're on 5 right at November Alpha to the gate, Delta 4084. Thank you.
Connect.
Locking the gear now. All right, Captain. Bypass
55, Yankee for signature.
Ready to push at your discretion, and please release parking brake.
Kilo Foxtrot
Brakes
Sierra
released, clear to push.
55 Nottingham, hello, join runway 33 right,
delay engine
cross
start
runway 4 left.
until push complete and
Then join
aircraft is
November,
clear.
hold short runway 15
Yeah, we're
right
starting.
and vacate.
Starting engine 2.
33 right, cross 4 left,
Starting engine
November,
2.
short of 15 right,
Automatic
signature.
cross check. We have now closed the boarding door. Prior to aircraft movement, all customers must be seated with their seatbelts fastened. Please make sure your seat back is upright, tray table is stowed, and all carry-on items are put away.
Probably going to take
Laptop
off,
and devices
cut off the
similar
stream,
size
and then do the
placed
landing in
under
Chicago.
in front of you for easy access
Fortunately,
if
it's
you take off.
not that windy in
Additionally, if
Chicago.
you are in an even more spacious
340 at
seat
4,
with
I
power
think it
outlets,
was.
please unplug all devices at
It'll
this
be
time.
interesting coming back here tonight. Yeah, 320 at 5. 10 miles, snow, -2, so we'll need to have the anti-ice on.
As part of our commitment to safety from the ground up,
Conventional aircraft are ground to box, September construction information Mike Nucker, September 29904.
Also, seat assignments have been deliberately spread out
go ahead and
except for
Push back
parties traveling
complete.
together.
Test parking brakes and
Please help
confirm.
us
Brakes set,
facilitate
you're clear to
distancing by
disconnect.
taking
Kilo
information
Foxtrot Sierra
to your
55,
sites.
cross runway 15 right, back to the signature via November Alpha.
Please place
Cross
small
15 right,
bags,
signature via
personal
November
items
Alpha,
under the
Toyota
seat.
55.
Larger items
Mike
may be
hasn't come
placed
up
in
yet.
the overhead bin with
Starting
wheels
engine
or
1.
handles facing
Check.
out. If you're placing a larger bag in the bin, please make sure the bin will close before taking your seat. Larger electronic devices such as laptops must be stowed prior to pushback under the seat in front of you or in an overhead bin. They may not be stowed in seat back pockets. If you are seated in an emergency exit row, you may be called upon to open the exits in the event of an emergency. If you are unable, unwilling, or feel you may injure yourself by performing the actions or functions described on the safety information card, please let us know. We'll find you a different seat. Our Airbus A320 has 8 emergency exits. There are 2 doors in the front, 2 window exits over the wings, and 2 doors in the back. Each door is equipped with an evacuation slide that can be detached from the aircraft and used as a raft. All exits are clearly marked with a sign overhead. If necessary,
Oscar,
further
Air
blood will
442, Charlie.
find the exits. In the event of an emergency,
Here
leave all
442,
personal
launching ground hello, taxi to parking via Charlie, cross 4
Take
left,
a moment
then
now to
Motor
locate the
Hagati.
closest exit and remember that it might be behind you.
Okay, straight ahead, Charlie, cross 4 left, parking
If there is
careful,
a
32
change in
there.
cabin pressure, floor
It's 2 up.
oxygen mask will drop
No
from
problem.
overhead. Firmly pull the mask toward you to start the flow of oxygen. Remove your face covering.
After start,
Place the mask over your
items,
nose and
it's
mouth.
going to be
Pull the
anti-ice,
elastic band around your head and tighten
on and
your straps
on,
on
wing
both
stays
sides.
off,
Even though the bag may
APU
not
leads
inflate,
coming
oxygen
off.
will be flowing. Be sure to put your mask on first before helping
APU's
others.
coming off.
We'll let you know it is no longer needed. We will be
Motor
passing
trim
you the
0,
cabin to make
that
sure
goes
we're ready
there.
for departure.
Status
You can
check.
help us in making sure your seatbelt is fastened. Seat back is upright.
Clear.
Tray table is stowed.
Checked.
All carry-on items are put away.
After start checklist,
If you have any questions about
Anti-ice.
the safety features of this aircraft,
Engine
please don't
anti-ice on.
hesitate to ask.
ECAM status.
Smoking,
Checked.
including the use of
Pitch trim.
electronic cigarettes or vaporizers, is never
30%
allowed on
set.
any JetBlue flight. Tampering with
Rudder trim.
disabling or destroying smoke detectors and aircraft records
0.
is a federal offense.
After start checklist complete.
Fine.
flight control check,
Ready.
This aircraft has 3 restrooms. There's one in the
Full
front
up.
of the cabin with 2 in the back.
Full down. Neutral.
Table to avoid crowding in the aisle.
Full left.
Please wait at your seat until the restroom is available.
Full right.
We're proud to let you know that this flight is carbon neutral and we're offsetting the
Neutral.
CO2
rudder,
from the fuel used
With
for
you.
all of our domestic flights to reduce the
Full
impact
left.
on our climate.
Full
All our
right.
planes are equipped with
Neutral.
high-speed Wi-Fi. If you have a Wi-Fi
crossing
enabled
ground,
device,
that's
just connect to the
JetBlue
Wi-Fi
2711
network.
with Mike for taxi.
And be sure to type in
JetBlue 2711, thank you for Mike, runway 9er.
and follow the prompts to
Taxi via Quebec,
Thanks to our
Bravo,
partnership with
Kilo
Amazon,
Mike,
once you
cross
register,
runway
you can
4
sign into
left.
your Amazon Prime account or start a free trial to stream
Quebec,
movies,
Bravo,
TV shows, and
Kilo,
music,
Mike,
and their true
crossing 4
2020
left
shop
for
with the JetBlue member wallet flight. You
2711.
can also find entertainment listings and other info about today's flight on the Fly-Fi Hub or on the JetBlue app. Please note the Fly-Fi signal will not be available outside of our coverage area. However, entertainment content will still be available on the Fly-Fi Hub at www.flyfi.com.
Flight zone.
The first part of today's flight operates outside the coverage
Why did he not do that?
magazines, and more, both in and out of coverage on the Fly Hub. Just type www.flyby.com into your browser
Did I do
window.
that?
We'll be adjusting the main cabin lights for departure. If you need it, there is a reading light above your seat. We're here to make sure you have a safe and comfortable flight.
De-ice.
Please report any inappropriate behavior.
Before takeoff
To a
checklist.
flight crew member.
Flight controls.
Thanks for your
Checked.
attention. We hope you
Checked.
enjoy the
Flight
JetBlue
instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
Config 1 plus F.
Config 1 plus F. V1, VR, V2, flex temp.
V1 123, VR 129, flex V2 134. Toga.
V1, 1, 2, 3, VR, 1, 2, 9, V2, 1, 3, 4, Toga, ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff no blue.
Down to the line.
To look that one up. Let us see here. Power flight. Okay. Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Gotta watch the brake temps too, because when it's snowy, she slides. Clear left side.
Clear right side. Check.
Guy's gonna be coming.
Boston Ground, WestJet 1221 with you on Charlie for gate A12.
WestJet 1221 Boston Ground. Hello, back to A21 via Charlie Alpha Echo, cross runway 4 left.
Global
Taxi
line.
to
Take off
gate
from
A21
09
via Charlie
confirmed.
Alpha Echo.
0,
and
4,
cross
left,
runway
confirmed.
4 left
Cabin
to
crew.
the
Advised.
WestJet 1221.
TCAS.
TAR.
JetBlue 27
Engine mode
contact Boston departure
No.
133.0. Good day.
On. Off. Off.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Departure now. JetBlue 2711. Departure. Good morning. Good afternoon. I should say. JetBlue 2711. Short of 9 on mic.
JetBlue 2711 Boston departure, runway 9 line and wait traffic lands runway 4 right.
Line up and wait, runway 9, JetBlue 2711. Clear left side.
WestJet 1194, wind 010 gust
Ready?
2, runway 4 right, RPR, variable between 4,500
Ready?
and 5,500. When departure up of 9 departure,
We got some
arrival,
red
runway
stuff
4
there.
right, clear to land.
Takeoff flight, please.
Station 86 Bravo, descend to maintain 3,000.
Here it comes.
WestJet 1194, radar contact lost.
Approaching.
Yep.
0.
That was the WestJet guy.
9.
JetBlue 2711, wind 010 gust 22, runway 9
Takeoff.
takeoff.
Check.
Clear takeoff, runway 9, JetBlue 2711.
Caravan 55, Quebec, descend to maintain 3,000.
For takeoff.
Down to 3,000, 155 Quebec.
United
Stabilized.
1619, over Goshi, cleared ILS, runway 4 right.
Clear out 4 right, United 1619.
Mantoga SRS, auto thrust blue.
Checked. Thrust set.
Checked.
Delta 220 crew, open to Boston, contact ground point 9 degree day.
We got a tailwind here.
100 knots.
Checks.
V1. Rotate.
155 Quebec, turn right, heading 080.
080, 155.
Positive climb.
United 60,
You're up.
19, reach speed to 170.
170.
You're up.
United 6, ground, reach speed to 180.
We were supposed to have a flap 3 takeoff there.
JetBlue 2711, radar contact, the altitude.
600 for 5,000.
JetBlue 2711, climb and maintain 14,000.
14,000. JetBlue 2711.
Additional aircraft confirmation November now current altimeter
Flaps 1.
2996.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Delta 448 still on my frequency, contact Boston Center 134.7. Current 55 Quebec, 8 miles from Milk, turn left heading 070, maintain 2,000,
Thrust
close
climb,
down
thrust.
from local exit for now,
Check.
24 right approach.
Flap 0.
070 down to 2000.
Speed check.
Until on
Flap
the approach,
0.
155.
155 Quebec, are you able to maintain 160 knots until Milk?
We can indeed.
Thank you.
It's those dynamic reflections. Pack 1 on. Have to take off climb checklist.
Landing gear. Up. Flaps.
Retracted.
Packs.
On.
Down to the line.
JetBlue 2711, contact Boston Center 134.7 today.
Center now 34 seconds. JetBlue 2711.
Checked.
We did pick up ice on the wings there too.
Endeavor 1339, radar contact block.
Boston Center, good afternoon. JetBlue 2711, 4,800 for 14,000. Climbing via the Highland.
JetBlue 2711, Boston Center, left climb and maintain flight level 340.
Climb maintain, flight level 340 now, JetBlue 2711. Flight level 340, Blue.
Checked.
November 605, Romeo Foxtrot, cleared left turn direct Providence, and correction direct Proby.
Left direct Proby for 05 Romeo Foxtrot.
All that misery that's on the top of Boston right now is only 4,800 feet high.
Legion 2526, welcome to Syracuse, exit parking by Alpha, good day.
I gotta remember.
Aircraft calling out of Bangalore, Boston Center saying go ahead.
Set standard.
Standard. Cross-checked. Passing flight level 080.
United 2033, clear level Boston Airport by the Bangalore 17, your correction time by the Bangalore 4 departure rate of vectors AJ Benham's file.
Now.
Maintain 10,000.
Below the line.
4716.
Barrel ref.
Standard set.
Standard. Set. After takeoff, climb checklist complete.
United 2033, roger by reback correct advisory to taxi, expect runway 33. November 6535 Bucks Field, Boston Center, go ahead.
Confirm seatbelts off.
Confirm.
Boston Center, good afternoon. Delta
Confirm,
448
clear red now.
with you at flight level 140.
Delta 448 Boston Center, hello, climb maintain flight 16,000.
Climb maintain flight level 16,000, Delta 448.
November 6355 Kilo, set over Burlington Airport. I have use Ford. Correction, I have a 64 departure. Rate of exit direct. Maintain 4,000. Departure base frequency. Flaw. 4730.
Checked.
Help keep our planes clean and hand us any items you wish to discard when we pass through the cabin. Please refrain from leaving hand wipes in the seatback pocket.
Confirm copy, active to secondary.
Confirm.
Our in-flight service will begin momentarily. On today's flight,
November
we're offering
605
bottled
Romeo
water
Fox, Dr.
and
10 is report for your arrival on my 408 Boston, altimeter
along with your
2996.
choice of tea and coffee.
Alright, we'll descend via this door for,
You can do to make your flight more comfortable. Don't hesitate.
Cruise flight level is as shown. Optimum flight level is as shown. Recommended max flight level is as shown. Are you happy with our current selected flight level?
Yes.
Okay.
Boston Center, citation 430, Hotel Delta, is level at 17,000, crossing field. Request flight following to Nantucket.
November 430 Hotel Delta Boston Center, just verify you are VFR, not IFR.
No, I'm IFR.
So would you like to cancel and go to VFR flight following, or you just...
No, I was never VFR. I found IFR.
Okay, November 430 Hotel Delta Boston Center, roger, maintain flight